Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Venus, sextile, or trine one's natal moon. Now, when you're talking about this transit, it can manifest in love, enjoyment, relationships, money, values. These things can be in harmony with your emotions. It could be a very good time in expressing your feelings toward people you're in relationships with. It could be more of, you could say, your relationships as well, being really more compatible, more in harmony, with your home and your family. If your moon is in Gemini, you might be maybe in a mercurial home situation. Maybe it's one where there's a lot of restlessness, a lot of activity, but it may be a time when these people and the relationships may still feel compatible there. If your natal moon is in the zodiac sign Cancer is another example. It could be a home that's very comforting, nurturing, caring. um, it's one where there's a lot of, you feel a lot of protection there. And the thing is, and that's where the relationships are going to be more, at home, that, with, as far as your home, with your home and your family members at this time. And it's also about having really a lot more enjoyment in things that are connected with your home life, your family, the mother, the less people that are prominent women in your life as well. It's a good time for expressing sentiments in general because Venus is about sentiments and feelings. The moon all has a connection, of course, with our feelings as well. And it's a time where these feelings can come out in a way where they're more, they're easily expressed and in a positive way, I would say as well. And it's also a time, the transit also is about more having a love of your home, not to the point where you can be obsessed with it or overly fixated on it, but you can enjoy the things more that are connected with your home, your family members. If your natal moon, say, is in Sagittarius, it could be doing outdoor activities, sports related things. It might be publishing or advertising, going on long distance journeys. And anatomically speaking, okay, the moon is connecting with the stomach, the chest, the breast. Um, it's also ribs and water retention. So the thing is, if you have any of these issues that I described that are anatomically connected with the moon, it's more of a time where you would have the money to spend on these issues at this time. And especially, you might have issues with what I just described, anatomically connected with the moon, especially if your moon falls in the first or sixth house in your natal chart. The first house is connected with the physical body. Sixth house is associated with physical health related issues. And this is a time too, when you have this transit, it's not even just about necessarily having money to deal with these issues. It's more as well where you're willing to spend it. You might have actually had it to spare, but for whatever reason, you might have just felt like using the money to work on these things more so than usual. And it's also a time to, the moon is okay. The moon is associated with people we're close to home with and prominent women in our lives. So this is a time where those connections would be more peaceful and tranquil than usual. The relationship with these people may be more auspicious at this time. And the thing about this is, say for example, your natal moon is in the zodiac sign Libra. These women could be prominent women in your life, people that you're close to home with. They could be Libra sun, moon, or ascendant people, or ones that simply embody Libra characteristics. They may be people that are very equitable, fair-minded, diplomatic, tactful, or even artistic, refined. It's a time too. This is also the time to work you have when you're talking about Venus being associated with peace and tranquility. It's a time where you can have more of that connection with your home and your family life, whether it's with home and family members or just in your home life in general, such as having your peace and quiet in your neighborhood, as an example. Um, and also too, the moon is also connected with the unconscious, the subconscious side. So it could be that people that are you're in relationships with, they could be romantic partner or an important friendship. These people may be more in agreement with that unconscious side that you may be expressing, the characteristics that come out that are associated with the moon, that you may be expressing them unconsciously. Going back to the natal moon being a Gemini, like in my case, it could be very versatile, diversified qualities, being loquacious, being able to talk on varied manifold subjects, as some examples, being witty. It might be a time too when you have this transit as well. The moon is connected with the past. It could be people that were prominent in our past, and this is a time where those relationship, I should say, the just the connection, expressing love to those people can be easier. Usually there's apt to be more enjoyment with those people, more so than usual at this time. It could be people, maybe they were in your early education. It might be somebody from an old neighborhood they were involved in it, maybe somebody that you had gone to college with, as some examples, or someone that was even part of your work life. Excuse me. So these are times when you really have more of a better, you can have more of a good connection with those people, positive connection, rapport, more so than usual, because remember that Venus is about peace and tranquility. The moon is about our past. It could be people that were prominent in our past, and also the moon is associated with memories. So it's a time where you could maybe peacefully just relaxing or reflect on positive memories in your life, and the things that were positive experiences, things that were beneficial to you, and also the mother, could be the mother as well. These are things where you're thinking more, you're more at peace with these matters at this time, and more, and as far as your memories go, thinking about, it's about maybe peaceful times as well as far as memories go at this point in time. And the thing too about this as well, this transit, is that when you look at the moon is about our reactions and our responses. So it's a time too where it's more favorable and auspicious to respond to people that you're in, a relationship with. It could be a romantic partner. It could be somebody that's an important friendship at this time. The transit, Venus is in Taurus. It might be somebody, could be a Taurus sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies those traits. It could be somebody that's very loyal, steadfast, stolid, trustworthy, persistent, as some examples. And the thing about this is as well, the moon is also connected with the public. And remember that Venus is about money. If you're in a situation, a lot of people are in, even if you're just working in a store, you're in a retail store, you're you're a cashier. This is a time when you might be expecting to be where the store where you're at could be making more money. It's more money from the public at this time, I would say, on average, is a greater propensity for that. If you're somebody that's in your own business, and say if you're going door-to-door sales, excuse me, it could be a time where you are where you're more apt to drum up more business. It's good for a better connection with the public at this time, where it's more auspicious for making money in connection with the public at this time, more so than usual. So if you're in a place, say, that's selling, say you got Sagittarius involved, and this is it might be you're in a store that sells sporting items, camping items. It could be a time where you're more apt to make money, or at least the store is making more money in connection with that. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, now another thing is that it's also a time, another way this transit may manifest, it could be where relationships, which is Venus, may be more in harmony. Again, reiterating what I was saying before, more in harmony with the unconscious, which is the moon side of yourself. Let's say, for example, if the natal moon is in Scorpio, it could be a side that's very incisive, probing, passionate, resourceful, as some examples. It can be also a time where it's auspicious to receive money, which is Venus, for your emotional needs, which is the moon. Now, for example, if the natal moon is in Gemini, it could be those emotional needs can include communication devices, a car, some vehicle, as some examples. Another thing too, it could be a time as well where it's very positive or peaceful, which is Venus, interactions with family, prominent women in your life, which is the moon. If the natal moon is in Capricorn, say, these people, prominent women, family members, it may be Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or ones that embody those traits. It's also a time where it could be easier to really love and enjoy, which is Venus, your home, which is the moon. If the, let's say, for example, if the natal moon is in Leo, it could be a home which is very extravagant. It might have many entertainment items in it, as some examples. And it might also be a time where it's propitious to articulate, not articulate, for, artistic expression, which is Venus, and it could be with the public then, which is the moon. If the transit Venus is in Pisces, as an example, it could be very like abstract art or fantasy art at this time. And keep in mind that Venus is also connected with legalities and lawsuits. So by some chance, if you are, you may be involved in a lawsuit. It could be over, the home or property, some real estate matter, or maybe even with a home or family member. In some cases, it could be auspicious for that. It may be a time where a home or family member may have good news regarding, a lawsuit or a legal matter. There may be money coming in to that in some instances. But anyway, people, that will conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.